Hello and welcome to The Positive Side. I'm Ann DeSantis, your host, and I'm very happy to be here with my friend here, Maggie Riggins. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much, Ann. It's great to be here.
Yes. And Maggie is the campus minister for DeSales University. DeSales University is located north of Philadelphia, and we're going to talk about her life, faith, and ministry. So let's just start out with, you have been a campus minister at DeSales for quite a while now.
I have, yes. Indeed.
Yes. So take us on that journey. I know that you are a person who decided years ago that you wanted to get involved in ministry and theology. So
yes, absolutely, Ann. Well, I grew up in Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania, in a family that was very faith-filled and very loving. One thing that I always remember about growing up there was that there's a church and a bar on every corner, right? So for me, life was a celebration, family was a celebration, faith is a celebration. And really the importance of that hospitality and care and community really formed me and stayed with me throughout my whole life. Also, a strong sense of work ethic was very much a part of my upbringing. So I took that spirit of hospitality and faith as a celebration with me when I entered into high school. So I took that spiritual life that I had within me, but also in high school I was able to form myself intellectually in the faith. And I had some really fantastic theology professors, teachers in high school that inspired me to continue to study theology. My path to choose that as a major was a pretty rough one, as it is for any high school person trying to choose what they want to do with their lives. So I was okay at math, I was okay at English, I liked history, I liked the sciences, but it was really my theology classes that intrigued me and inspired me. And so when I started looking through college brochures, you'd see the long list of the majors, and I would get towards the end, and I didn't realize that you could study religious studies or study theology. And so that really set my path of looking for universities where I could study theology.
Right. And then you continued on that path. And then, now I'm not sure, I know that we discussed how the fact that you've been at DeSales since 2001.
Right.
That's a long time, and that's great. I know you've done so much for the university.
Well, thank you.
And they're so grateful for you. And as a matter of fact, my daughter, hello Elaine, she is actually a student there. She's a senior at DeSales University and is also a theology major. So she works very closely with Maggie and is very appreciative with the work that you do there.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you.
Yes.
I actually went to DeSales University for my undergrad degree.
Oh.
So I did choose DeSales as my college, and it was the absolute best decision I ever made because it really set my life on a trajectory to have a life in ministry, to have a life working within the faith, and it was a fantastic experience.
Yes. For the viewers that are out there that don't know too much about a Salesian university,
Sure.
it's St. Francis de Sales. There's a lot to learn about him. Can you
Sure
tell
is.
us a little bit about St. Francis de Sales?
Sure. So DeSales University is named after St. Francis de Sales. He was a Catholic bishop that lived about 400 years ago in France, what was known as the Savoy region. He was someone who developed a spirituality that was very practical, very optimistic, very well-lived. So his focus was on little virtues of gentleness and humility and simplicity. So it was a spirituality that was really made for the everyday person, that was made for everyday life. So it's a spirituality that is easy to gravitate to, not only as a college student, but also as an adult.
Yes, and I know that just knowing you, that a lot of those virtues, I know that you try to live those virtues.
Absolutely.
And that's part of, the fact that you did choose theology and integrate that into your life. And I know you're married and you have a daughter as well, and you try to instill that in her. I know that we've discussed that too. So
Right.
Being a mother and balancing all of that, what is that like? Just you balancing your work life and also family life? Because I know you do it well.
Thank you so much.
She does.
Well, when I think about raising a child and raising my daughter, I think about how not only am I trying to be a good, faithful person, but I'm also trying to raise a good, faithful person. Mm-hmm. And so I pray that I'm doing that well and as best as I can to instill those values of, again, that life is a celebration, that faith is fun and fulfilling, and that sense of a work ethic, of working hard for the things that you want. So I try to incorporate that into the raising of my child and the relationships that I have, and try to do that very well.
You do. And going back to the show is the positive side. And, thinking about you, that's one reason I chose you, because it's a good balance. You're such a great balance of, living a positive life, taking care of you and your family. Even the fact that we're on TV, I mean, that to me, I look at you and think you'd be a good candidate for getting involved in some kind of either modeling or, she presents herself very well. So I look at that too, and I know that you keep active. So, tell us about sort of more that balance, I know, between, dealing with these young people who are at DeSales University, who are, with your campus ministry job, you are leading them on that same path, maybe that you took, the path of trying to live a faithful, good, positive life, making an impact on the world and on others through faith.
Right.
So
I think one of the most important things in campus ministry is to really meet people where they're at, to meet them where they are, to go where they are, and to sit with them and walk with them. And in ministry, I have the great pleasure of being able to walk with people on their faith journey, to see where they're at and to see how can I best support them, how can I best inspire them, and sometimes at times, how can I challenge them to be their best selves and to grow deeper in their relationship with God? And that's going to look much different for every different person. So the ministry at DeSales is quite varied and with a lot of different programs so that it could speak to the hearts and where the students are at in their own faith life.
And I guess you have learned so much about the individual lives of some of the people that you meet. And I know that for my daughter, some of those retreats that you've taken them on have been so enriching. So,
yes, so
tell us a little bit about that. I mean, what is that like?
So every year we have a freshman retreat where we welcome all of our new students to participate in an experience to talk about how are you going to live your faith in college. That you're not at home with your parents anymore. You're now making a choice to say yes or no to that relationship or what that relationship with God would look like. So we spend some time on that retreat specifically with our new students to sort of spend some time thinking about that and what prayer is like and what a relationship with God could be like while you're in college, while you're trying to balance all of the classwork and your other experiences and opportunities, things that you can get involved with. How does faith how can that be integrated into your life? And the retreat that your daughter went on, she was actually a leader and she was fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Elaine. We develop all of our retreats for the upperclassmen that also the freshmen can attend from scratch. So there's no set script, there's no set checklist. So we have our students who are chosen to be leaders after an application process. They work through, well, what's going on in their lives right now? What is on their hearts? When they go to pray, what are they saying? What are the things that they're experiencing in their life right now that we could bring to a larger population of students to spiritually work that through? And what does our faith tell us about that situation? So it is really enriching. It's a really wonderful time for students to get away from campus and to have that little break to retreat, but then also to have the inspiration to then take what they've learned to move forward.
I like what I'm hearing because some of the key words that come out in my mind are community, inspiration, and then just the critical thinking too. I mean, there's critical thinking involved there too with, the students are really balancing so much. They're balancing a pretty heavy workload and friendships. It's the beginning of, entering really into that adult life. And I know that you yourself, the fact that you've been there since 2001, what has that been like for you? You've met so many people, and even with the instructors there and the leaders and some of the clergy. So what has that been like, just getting to know those at a deeper level?
It's been really amazing. I wake up every morning and I'm so thankful that I have the job that I do. And also in true humility, I'm always like, I can't believe I get to do this, of being able to walk with people on their faith journey and to get to know them in a very intimate and vulnerable way that they are, when they open up to me and to anyone that works in ministry, they're really bearing their souls, so it's a very delicate time and it's a very privileged time to be able to walk with somebody with something that they're so passionate about or they're hesitant about, that I try to do my best to lead them on a path to be able to fulfill their faith life while also juggling all those different responsibilities.
Yes, I mean, once again, the word privilege, wow, that's a good word to think about because it really is a privilege to be able to go to a school such as DeSales and take that time in a very holistic way, studies, prayer, and friendships, even just simply, hanging out. I know that you do a lot of that with the students there too, is that they like to come and visit, and they feel very comfortable with her. Just,
Thank you.
just as we are right now. I'm feeling very comfortable just
you, Ann.
conversing and getting.
Well, I think when you take a look at ministry at a college, retreats are a very small segment of that, or will only appeal to a certain type of student that is comfortable with that level of vulnerability, of going away to someplace else and opening up in small groups and listening to other speakers. So because that's not an experience that draws in all types of students, I try in ministry to plan things that appeal to people no matter where they're at in their faith life. So at DeSales, we also offer weekly spiritual groups, like support groups in a sense, for our men's and women's groups. We have a pro-life club. There's a DeSales Christian Fellowship group for Bible study. So if people want a sort of a small group setting that lasts for an hour, they can get their little spiritual, kick in the pants for the week. That's a great opportunity for them as well. But also for students that might not be interested in doing that, we also offer a number of speaker series that they're able to attend, hear a really great speaker, and sort of be moved and motivated in their faith in that way as well.
Oh, I just love that. And being the parent of someone who does go to that school, and as a matter of fact, my husband also went to the school for his master's, so it's just a great school. And they're blessed. They're very blessed.
It's a really wonderful place. When you mentioned the word about community, I really see DeSales University as the home away from home. I think something that hopefully Elaine has been able to experience as a student at DeSales, of just really being a home away from home. When people care about you as a human being, that they look out for you, it really is a family.
She feels that way.
Great.
I know she's probably watching right now, but she had that opportunity also to study abroad. And that was wonderful. My daughter spent a semester in Rome. So we are going to take a break. We have a lot more to talk about with her life, her faith, ministry, and also the future too.
Excellent.
So we will be right back on the positive side.
Shelter dogs aren't broken. They've simply experienced more life. If they were human, we would call them wise. They would be the ones with tales to tell and stories to write, the ones dealt a bad hand who responded with courage. Do not pity a shelter dog. Adopt one.
Say we've got grit, and we'll take it as a compliment. Because it's our uncommon drive, our spark within, that brings us together and sets us apart. We are temple made. And when others take shortcuts, when others take breaks, when others take the easy way, we take charge.
I work 13 hours a day, 6 days a week. So when I'm off the clock, I gotta get stuff done. So when I need a snack, I need something healthy, tasty, and easy to eat. Like wonderful pistachios without the shells. They're protein-powered, delicious, and great on the go. And that's perfect for me. Thanks, Liz. A woman without a lot of time.
Whether you're a gourmet cook or just want to eat like one, visit Rostelli Market Fresh, your home for the freshest, locally sourced ingredients to please everyone who loves great food. Our organic meats, quality seafood, and free-range poultry are cut fresh to order. Chefs create culinary-inspired prep foods made fresh every day, which pair nicely with our vast selection of fine wines and spirits. Choose from handmade pastas, artisan cheeses, organic produce, and grocery items, all from the finest purveyors. Rostelli Market Fresh, from our family to yours.
RVNTV is a platform for people of any industry to share their story. Over 285,000 viewers are tuning in to RVNTV shows monthly. We guarantee a great experience that you'll be...
Hello, welcome back to The Positive Side. I'm Ann DeSantis with my guest, Maggie Riggins. We were having a great time talking about her life, and we were also talking about DeSales University, and that is a university that Maggie is the campus minister there. And she has done great work. And I know that because my daughter goes there too. And she's a senior. So let's talk about the Patron Saint, which is St. Francis de Sales. I know we have a picture to show of him. Okay, so that's St. Francis de Sales. Tell us about him.
Sure. Well, Francis de Sales had a very practical and down-to-earth spirituality. And one of the major focuses of that spirituality is living in the present moment. And so I've incorporated that aspect of spirituality into my own life with the way that I choose to pray every day. So when the day starts, Francis de Sales encourages people to do a preparation of the day. And that is looking at all of the responsibilities that we know we're going to experience throughout the day. So I might have a meeting at 9, I might have an encounter with a student, I might have basketball practice in the afternoon. So I pray about those things and prepare for them to know that when I get to those things in the day, that I'm fully present, that I know God is fully present, and that I could try to be my best self in that present moment. So I pray for those things so that when they happen, I'm like, I already know this is happening, and I know God is here. Just at this moment right now, I prayed for us today, Anne. And that was a really great way for me to pray. But what I found was what was usually causing me upset, or what can cause anyone upset, are those interruptions. Those things that we don't know are going to happen. The email that we weren't expecting, or the conversation that we were going to have that maybe we weren't ready for. So I decided that not only will I pray for the things that I know are going to happen throughout the day, I also pray for the things that I refer to as unexpected blessings, or maybe if they're not always blessings, unexpected events. So as I go through the day and I go through all the things that I have planned, that I've already prayed about, there are going to be things that are going to happen in the day that I had no idea. But in my mind and in my prayer, that's when I look to God and say, this is what you also had in mind for my day. So when I get an email or I have a call from a friend from out of the blue, that's my unexpected blessing for the day. So in talking about being positive, preparing for the day and praying to God to be with me throughout every present moment, even in those unexpected ones, has really helped me keep a positive outlook on the day and of life, because I feel like I'm prepared for it, because I know I'll be fully present there and I know God will be fully present there.
Yes, and I know you live that way just because, remember, it was, I think, a couple weeks ago, I had called unexpectedly. That was kind of one of those things that I had called the college, or the university, we'll say, and didn't realize that I wanted to find out the answer to a question, and lo and behold, they sent me to Maggie, and hey, it was one of those unexpected blessings.
One of those unexpected blessings, absolutely.
That's right, yes.
So when I encounter students, one of my spiritual practices that I have as a campus minister is not only doing the preparation of the day, but I also don't use the word busy. So that really spurned from this idea of staying in the present moment. And what happened was I had a student come into my office and he used the phrase, Maggie, I know you're busy, but... And I was like, no, I'm not busy. I'm here for you. Why don't you come in? And we had a nice conversation. And again, with doing the preparation of the day, Francis de Sales encourages us in our prayer to also do a reflection at the end of the day, or my day is ending. So I get to go through all those different times that I had planned, that I prayed for, the unexpected blessings that came my way, and was I truly present? And how well did I handle those situations? So when I had that student come in and say, Maggie, I know you're busy, but... I remember reflecting on that and saying, why did that bother me so much? Why did that cause me upset? And I realized that I didn't want to give off an air of busyness, that students couldn't come to see me because I looked harried, or maybe my desk was a mess, which it isn't. But I didn't want to give off that air of that I was too busy for people to come and talk to me. So I reflected on that word for a while, and I realized I'm not going to use it anymore because, first, it's a non-descriptor, right? I'm busy, you're busy, everyone out there is busy. So when we talk about being busy, we all are. So I choose not to use it. If you would ever ask me how I am, I'll use a million other words, but I will not use what I refer to as the B word. So I also don't want to use the word busy because that's a word that if you would ask me how I am and I answer I'm busy, I now made you feel like you're interrupting my day. And that's my whole idea with the whole momentary blessings, is to not make people feel like they're an interruption. So I don't want to use that to make people feel that they're interrupting me, because they're not. You're my unexpected blessing. And so also with busy, I didn't want to use it as an excuse, that when people invite me to things that, or another opportunity comes along, I don't want to immediately say I'm busy without giving proper thought and and decision making to, is it something I can really commit to? Or am I super busy right now that I want to say that I am, so I avoid another opportunity for another engagement of some sort. So I didn't want to use it as an excuse. And then also just saying the word busy, it can make you anxious, right? And so eliminating that word from my vocabulary has also helped me remain positive throughout the day. So if somebody would ask me, well, Maggie, are you busy? I would never say yes, but I might say something like, well, my day is very full, or there's a lot going on. But that's a spiritual practice that really stemmed from the preparation of the day that Francis DeSales encourages us to do to get ready, but to also not get so caught up in our responsibilities that we forget to be truly present in the present moment.
Isn't that true? I'm so glad that you talked about that idea of busy. How often do we hear that word? It's all the time. I know. I think I'm going to take that practice and not say busy all the time, because it's almost, to me, sometimes that word busy sounds like somewhat of an excuse, not only for me, but when other people, as you said, it's sort of a negative connotation word, I would think. Right. Instead of positive.
And sometimes for our students, they feel the anxiety of all the responsibilities that they have. So I try to talk them through, okay, yes, you are busy, but let's take one thing at a time. And how can we work this through so that you're not feeling anxious about all your responsibilities? So I let them know, a lot of times college students play what I call the busy Olympics, and nobody wins the busy Olympics. So how can we, be mindful of our responsibilities, handle them with faith and with patience and with care, and truly be fully present.
I really like that. And the fact that you said at the beginning when you started to talk was that you pray first. You bring your thoughts and your heart to God. And then when you're going through your day, the connection that you have with people and with the events that happen, you know that God is present. Even if that interruption or whatever happens, we all have that, right? That you know that it was designed by God. So those interruptions are things that happen. There is a reason for everything. I always say that. Right. Girls, you know that. I'm talking to my daughters. But there is a reason for everything that happens. And throughout our day, it's the same way.
It really is.
Yes. So now, if somebody's watching, maybe they have a college student or high school student out there that's thinking about college, maybe you could talk about a couple of these things. What types of things should they look for in a university? And if they are there and they want to get involved with something like what you do, what are some of the things that they can do to build that positive life, prayerful life, and also on a good track? Because, college life isn't easy. We all know that. It can be fun, right? But you need to have that balance.
Yeah,
and I know
absolutely.
that's...
Absolutely. Well, DeSales University is a place where we really respect the dignity of the human person. And service is also such at the heart of the university as well. So if you're a student out there looking for a college, DeSales is a really wonderful place that respects who you are as a person. One of the most famous Francis DeSales quotes that we use on campus is, "Be who you are and be that well." To really bring yourself as the gift that you are, that we at the university will help you become your best self. So even with that phrase, "be who you are and be that well," there's not a period at the end of that sentence, it's actually a comma. And the rest of the quotation is, "be who you are and be that well in order to give honor to the master craftsman whose work of art you are." So at DeSales, we see our students as a beautiful work of art that God has already created. And we get 4 or 5 years to help that creation grow even more beautiful, to be a gift back to the world. So when we say be who you are and be that well, we want our students to be able to understand who they are, what were the gifts and talents that God has placed within them, and at DeSales, how do we help make that goodness grow? How do we make that become more of a gift to the world?
Didn't you say that well? The gift. It really, it truly is, because when you have a child, I have 2 daughters. They are gifts. They're gifts from God, and you want them to be in a place, if they are going to college, a place that they will grow as a person in many facets, and you cover all those facets, especially if spirituality is something of importance, and I think for a lot of people
Absolutely.
it is. And like you said, the dignity of the human person. Hey. What's more important than that?
Right.
It
And
really is.
if people are looking for a campus ministry to get involved in, I would look for something that's very well-rounded, something that's true to the university. And at DeSales, we are a committed Catholic and Salesian university that's open to people of all faiths. With Catholic meaning universal, it's a wonderful place for people of any faith to be respected, to be able to grow in their faith, to be able to become their best self. So our campus ministry is modeled for many different types of people, many different ways of expressions of faith, and really my job as a minister, because it's campus ministry, is to respond to the needs of the campus. So when the students come with their concerns or their ideas, I'm sort of steering the ship of helping support them, of helping them have the resources to be able to do what they want to do. And that has been a very fruitful type of ministry. So it never looks the same. So with being at DeSales since 2001, ministry has never looked the same because our community has always been changing. You know, every 4 years we get, or every year we get new students at the university. So, and the Holy Spirit always flies forward. So we're always being innovative and looking for new ways to attract people and to help people dive deeper into their faith experience, especially during those young adult years of 18 to 22, where faith formation is very vital and important.
Yes, and you used the word fruitful, and I will say, knowing a lot about this school, it really is. I mean, there is fruit that is born from that. So, you know, I can't believe this show's going to be over soon. And I thank you so much for being here. You're a great guest.
Thank you so much.
Well, I shouldn't even say I hope she's coming back, because she is going to be coming back. We have another scheduled show with a friend of ours, Amy Brooks. So we hope that you'll join us. And now that's going to be in February. And is there anything else that you'd like to share, though, before we end this show with anyone who might be out there with questions about DeSales or about what you do? How can they get in touch with you?
Sure. You can find DeSales at www.desales.edu. Also, you can follow DeSales Campus Ministry on different types of social media. So we are on Instagram and we're on Facebook and we have a Snapchat. DeSales Campus Ministry is the best thing to search for. Also, if you want to get in touch with me, you could be my friend on Facebook. I'm Magdalene Riggins. I look forward to being in touch with anyone that wants to continue a conversation about campus ministry or about momentary blessings or unexpected blessings or about life in general.
Thank you, Maggie.
Of course. You're welcome.
And we will see you next time on The Positive Side. I'm your host, Ann DeSantis, with Maggie Riggins. See you soon.